How's it going, everybody? If you're new to this series on my channel, I make some sort of 3D printed fishing lure that you guys can download for yourselves. Today we're going to be making an open pore crawl mold. So it's an open box that you pour right in instead of injecting. It's a great mold to get started for someone who doesn't have all the gear to do injection molds. All you really need is a measuring cup and a microwave. So we are using this beautiful picture here supplied to us by Animal Crossing because I wanted something halfway in between realistic and cartoony. I don't want to make it too realistic and make it a pain to make when all the details not going to come out anyway, and I don't want to make it too plain, so this is the perfect picture. So I'm going to make the head a little rounder than it is on this, but we're going to start dragging this out to make the body. We're going to use this as like a loose kind of guide. That's going to be our main body shape. Alright, now we are going to make our segments, or we're going to segment the body out, give it a little detail. We only have to make one half of the body, and then we're going to mirror it over the other side. And we're going to use this to split this, and then chamfer the edges to make that the little cutout in the shell. And that's what our body's going to look like. Now, for an eye, we're just going to use the ball, spear, whatever you want to call it, tool. And that's our eye. Now for these tail segments right here, we're going to use the donut tool. I forget what it's actually called. Taurus. Now I'm going to draw out the back fin. Each one of these is going to be different at 3 different levels. Alright, now it's time for the claws. So we're going to do that with a bunch of pipe tools. And that's one of our pinchers. Alright, we just got to combine this whole arm together, and our arm's done. Now I'm going to try adding some legs and some antenna, but I don't know how they're going to come out with the open pore mold, but we're going to try. Alright, so this is where the magic's going to happen to duplicate this. We just got to combine everything together. Now this is our finished craw lure. Now all we got to do is make the box. That's pretty easy. It's a lot simpler than it looks. We're going to get rid of the canvas for now. Look at it from the bottom because that's the way you're going to pour it in. All we have to do is create a sketch down here, and you can really draw whatever shape you want. Like you can make a giant circle. We're going to make something fancy, kind of follow it, just to have a little fun with it. And all we have to do is extrude this, and we just got to do a combined cut and use this as our tool. We'll keep the tool and cut that out. And alright, I fixed it so the claw shows up now, but this is our finished mold. Same issue happened with the antenna where it wasn't at the bottom, so it didn't show up. But I don't think those are going to be able to work in an open pore mold anyway, so I'm just going to leave them out. Now we'll print this and pour it and see how it looks. Alrighty, so this is the original mold I made. Now it's not good enough, it's way too flat to put a hook through, so I made a thicker one. But when pouring this and all my other molds, I get these little heat cracks, that's what I'm calling it. And I have a theory about that. I think it's the ABS. So I know it's got a higher temperature resistance, but it warps a lot on the print bed due to heat. So I'm thinking when we're dumping molten plastic in there, it's warping it, and that's why we're getting those little cracks. So for the next mold, we switch to PETG. Now my theory here is that it won't warp and it won't crack, so we're going to try that. I made it a little thicker, I changed the claws up a bit, and we're going to pour some remelt in there and see how that works. This is my last go around. Now normally you'd hook these through the tail. Now it's way too thin to put a hook through. That was my bad. I didn't notice that when I was drawing this up. All this flashing around is just my skill level for open pores, which is 0. You're not going to have that problem, and it just peels off anyway. So I redesigned this bait. I just scaled it up so it's thicker, and it should look a lot nicer now instead of this pancake thing. So our plastic's melted, and I'm going to pour this in now. I don't know if the antennas and the legs are going to fill in all the way. We're going to have to clear off some flashing, but that's fine. That's what video editing's for. Yeah, if you guys have a steady hand and you guys can actually pour this right, then you'll do fine. But that's not a skill I have yet. So I'm gonna wait for this to cool down. We'll pull it out, try another color or two. If you guys are making this yourself and you like it, I'd recommend printing like 2 or 3 molds so you can just bang one out after another. So I'm gonna see you guys when this is cooled down. The open pour molds, surprisingly, to me at least, take a little bit longer to cool down. I would think since it's got an open top, it would cool down very quickly, but that's not true. So in like 20-30 minutes, we'll pull it out and pour another one. All right, this should be set up now. We just got to pull this out. Now, this came out pretty good. I have a lot of flashing to clean up, but I can try to fix that on the next pour. And I'm going to pour a couple more of these. I'll clean this up so you guys can see it better. And then I'll see you guys when I'm all done. So I shot a couple different colors of these. Yeah, I went a little overboard. I'm doing a nice road trip this weekend coming up. So I'm going to use that to test out as many of the baits I've made as I can. Now I switched it up with the plastic between some of these, making it a little harder, a little softer, just to see what works best. Got a couple of different colors going on here. These blue ones are the super hard one. They're almost saltwater. I cut it a little bit with the softer plastic. But so I'm going to throw these all in a bag and scent them up. And I apologize, in all my other videos, I told you guys to use ABS. And for shooting all the baits I've made for this weekend, I discovered that PETG works much better and you don't get that heat cracking. So yeah, that's it. If you want to name this Craw something special, let me know in the comments down below. Suggest what lures you guys want made next, and then I'll see you guys in the next video.